Aaron Rodgers, who looks a little bit in his Jets uniform like the alien known as the Great Gazoo, not only, as first reported at ProFootballTalk.com late Tuesday night, agreed to a new deal with the Jets, he agreed to a pay cut. Now, I had been hearing this for weeks. There was concern within his camp, among his representation, if you will, that he was going to take less because they get paid a percentage of what he gets paid. And they did not like the idea of Aaron Rodgers taking a penny less than the $108 million plus he was due to make over the next 2 years. Not only did he take less, he took a lot less. He took a staggering amount less, 31% less. $33.7 million is the pay cut. He'll make $75 million over the next 2 years, and when the next 2 years come and go, no tags for Aaron Rodgers, which sets the stage for him to go anywhere he wants, including Minnesota if he wants to continue the Brett Favre career arc after the 2024 season. So $33.7 million. Now, here's Aaron Rodgers from yesterday when he's asked this specific question. Before he would divulge and before the numbers were reported, he was asked, did he intend to play multiple more years for the Jets when he arrived, or did something change once he got to New York?
Definitely some of it is how much fun I'm having. It's all about the body, how the body feels. The team gave up significant pieces for it just to be a one-year deal. I'm aware of that. I think there was an awareness of that. Now, again, anything can happen with my body or with the success we have this year. But I'm having a blast, so I don't really see this as a one-year and done thing.
Well, I know now that the contract is redone, he makes about
7.3
million this year. He makes the bulk. It's I don't know. It's a little 75, and it's a little more than 35 this year, and it's the rest of it next year. It's about 38 next year. So it's structured in a way that it looks like he's going to play both years. But Chris, look, and all the Chiefs fans who get mad at me for saying Patrick Mahomes should insist on more money are like, what are you going to say now about Aaron Rodgers? Well, I'm going to say this. All he's really doing is a $33.7 million favor for Woody Johnson, the Big Pharma heir, at a time when Aaron Rodgers has said he thinks Big Pharma is out to get him and getting us in the media to vilify him, that they're telling us what to do, that they're engaged in alien-type mind control over us to get us to say bad things about Aaron Rodgers. That's who he's doing the favor for because let's be realistic about it. If Aaron Rodgers is staying with the Jets for 2 years, they don't need his $33.7 million in cash and cap space to have a competitive team. They can kick the can through 2025, 26, 27. They can structure deals so they pay for it later. He is doing them a favor on managing the cap in future years.
Yes.
And he's doing Woody Johnson a $33.7 million solid because they traded for Aaron Rodgers, assuming they were going to pay him $108.7 million. Oh, no. They're going to pay him $75 million. So, look, I think that, look, it's his business.
Yep.
But it's a lot to give up to suck up to the team, to suck up to the fan base, and to give a middle finger to the Green Bay Packers. And that's what I think the motivation was.
Well, I'm sure that's part of it. Yeah, we talked about this in the spring. It's a great gesture. I mean, it's something that, it's going to win over the fan base 100%. I mean, people are... It's every day Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers talk, Aaron Rodgers up here right now. I mean, it's nonstop anywhere you go. So now you do this on top of it. Yeah, it shows that, there's a commitment and, he is liking his football team. He does want the fan base to get on his side. To what you were saying too, Mike, they gave up a lot to get him. I think he recognizes that. And then I also think, on top of that, with what they gave him, you're right. I mean, it helps their salary cap, okay? And they gave away some key assets to get him. All right, so now this does give them a little bit more playing room here in the next 2 years, if he is there for both years, for a little bit more wiggle room for, hey, we want to sign a big free agent next year that maybe we couldn't have got if we didn't have your extra $30 million or whatever. So, yeah, I look at it like that. I know it's, yes, at the end of the day, Woody Johnson, he's the one winning here. But I think Aaron Rodgers is looking at it like, I'll do it if it means I'm happy, I'm perceived the right way, I can rally the team and the fan base around that, and, then win some football games on top of that. That's going to be his quickest way to becoming a New York sports legend right here. And I'll give him credit for that. I really will. I'll give him credit for trying to make this work and trying to do it the right way, as far as, making himself comfortable and making the team feel comfortable at all the things that go along in this scenario.
And if it works, Chris, he'll make some of that money back, maybe a lot of that money back, with endorsement deals and other opportunities in the greater New York area and beyond. And because he's never been a guy that's had a lot of endorsements. Given that he's been one of the great quarterbacks in the NFL for the past decade plus, you see Peyton Manning everywhere. You still see Peyton Manning everywhere. You see Tom Brady all over the place. All we ever really saw Aaron Rodgers was the State Farm.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Where else have we seen Aaron Rodgers? Some regional stuff, and they severed ties with him. There was some health system in Wisconsin that kicked him to the curb when he went anti-vax a couple of years ago. They couldn't continue that relationship, and nationally it's just been State Farm. Now, I have to do justice to my status as one of the top 5 conspiracy theorists in the National Football League. And I happen to be wearing today the same shirt I was wearing when Howie Roseman said, "You look like a guy who lost weight and is too cheap to buy new clothes."
Right.
So in honor of Howie and the title that he gave me, let me just try to piece something together here that could be actually what is going on. And it's something to remember 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, assuming, number one, I'm still alive, and number two, the aliens haven't taken over. I was told Tuesday night, just about the same time I was told that the deal was done, which ended up being absolutely accurate, as we learned yesterday. Aaron Rodgers was trying to get some equity in the team as part of these negotiations. Last week, the NFL slammed the door on any current players or employees of teams getting equity in the franchise. Well, I, for one, will not be surprised if at some point after Aaron Rodgers retires, after having a great situation, a great relationship, a great experience with the New York Jets, regardless of how it goes on the field, everything's great. I love it here. As much as I hated it in Green Bay in the latter years of my career there, I love it here. And he becomes friends with Woody Johnson. And the big pharma heir and the big pharma pariah come together and they walk arm in arm. And oh, lo and behold, Woody Johnson offers to sell Aaron Rodgers a piece of the New York Jets. And the appreciation in value of the piece of the Jets that Aaron Rodgers purchases more than makes up for that $33.7 million. Write it down. It's going to take time, but I think that's where it's heading.
Wow.
Eventually, we'll see Aaron Rodgers owning a piece of the New York Jets.
Well, that would be shocking. Especially for what we're saying, or what we think we're going to see, 1 or 2 years commitment, and then you're going to get a piece of the team. Now, listen, everything else I could see. I can see Aaron Rodgers
years down, 5, 6, 7 years down the road.
All right.
We have goldfish brains. We will have long forgotten any of this stuff, and we will long cease to have cared about it. I'm just saying, 6, 7 years from now, don't be surprised if when Aaron Rodgers retires, he does what Tom Brady's trying to do with the Raiders, just going to buy a little piece of the team. No big deal, just buying a little piece of the team.
Yeah, listen, I hear you there. Whether it happens with this football team or not, that's, I think, the interesting thing, just to have that type of relationship after 1 or 2 years. But you're right, Brady and the Raiders have no relationship, and that happened. I could certainly see, to your point, like Aaron Rodgers, who looks like he's embracing the New York life, right? And, and seems like he wants to get out there and be a little bit more social. And if that's what you want to do, then New York's the place for you. And yes, you said it. You're a different star when you're a star in New York. Yeah, the endorsements come at a higher rate, right? Saquon Barkley is more popular because he's a New York star than he would be if he was stuck in middle America. There's real truth to that, let alone there's business that goes on in New York that you can get little, like you were saying, local deals. Oh, hey, Goldman Sachs wants you to come and talk to all their Wall Street employees, twice this year. Boom, here's $1 million. That's the kind of crap that can go on with the big time sports athletes here in the New York area, where they can make up money for giving up money to the team. But I hear you there. And then he becomes an ambassador between the city and the New York Jets. I can get my head around that. I can, Mike. I don't think it's the craziest conspiracy theory you've ever thrown out there.
Well, it's something that will take time to come to fruition. Before then, there's football to be played both this year and presumably next year. And who knows, maybe beyond next year if things work out.
But I do want to say this one thing definitively here. I do. Because you know, listen, we've ragged on Rodgers a little bit for, immunized in some of the things he's done. We certainly have defended him a ton.
You mean lying about?
Well, yeah.
You mean lying about not being vaccinated?
Yeah,
you mean
we
that?
gave it to
playing
him.
Word games like a child?
Right.
That?
We didn't hold back.
Yeah.
We didn't hold back. I know that. But also, listen, Green Bay acted like a child, too. Let's not forget about that. Mark Murphy and them, they said a lot of cryptic bull crap that was childish, so they can say what they want to. But the thing I want to say really is that this is the guy, we got to give him credit. Do you remember anybody doing this ever in the history of football? Like this significant amount of money? This is the guy that's supposed to be selfish and blah, 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 that this is what the sports world has painted him as. And I don't think that's fair to him totally. I know there's some of that, sure. But here to make, this type of sacrifice to your team, I don't care how much money you have, like you always say.
I don't like it. You act like you like it. The guy's entitled to his money.
Well, I don't know
like
he
it.
is,
Now,
but I'm giving him credit
it's
for
entirely possible. I know.
Okay.
You're taking the cheese. Okay, let's
Fine.
say it's possible
Right.
that when he did his latest contract with the Packers at a time when he had done 2 straight MVP awards.
Right.
And he had all the leverage and all the bargaining power as the Packers were trying to make this guy happy who had been a back-to-back league MVP. What if he deliberately put his thumb on the scale knowing that it would be easier to convince the Packers to trade him if they knew they were escaping this massive financial obligation that he never really wanted in the first place? He just wanted to have such
power.
a big cash and cap obligation that they would move him if he wanted to be moved. And he always intended, as part of my effort to ingratiate myself to a new city, wherever it may be, I'm going to make this massive reduction in my pay in order to further become the good guy there and to further upset and rankle the folks in Green Bay. Not the fans, the front office. So, look, if we're going to give him credit for being this super genius, we have to take into account the possibility that everything he does is strategic and he doesn't just pull plans out of the air. That maybe this is something that he planned the moment that he said to Green Bay, I want this $50 million plus commitment, knowing that he's eventually going to get traded somewhere else. He's going to take a lot less, and he's going to be a hero on the way in the door.
Right,
and guys like you are going to be praising him for this selfless exercise that I really do think is kind of dumb. He doesn't need to do it unless he's got a plan as part of it to buy a piece of the team on the back end and make his $33.7 million back that way as the piece of the team appreciates.
For once, just give it credit. Don't give it a conspiracy down 4 years down the road again, or 3 years back now.
Okay.
Now we're going backwards in time.
We just talked about how they lied to us about JFK. They lied to us about the airlines, and you're just willing to take anything you see at face value.
No, you know I'm not. No, but there's you're like you don't always have to go. Ooh, I think he was playing an angle 3 years ago, and this is what
I do. I have to. I must.
Okay,
it is in my DNA.
We know it's in your DNA.
It is in my fully human.
I don't think he's that smart.
Fully human, non-alien DNA.
Because when Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay and gets $25 million, everybody's like, it's amazing. And when Tom Brady takes a pay cut for New England, he's so selfless.
Nobody
and this
said
is great.
That.
Well, that's how you build a team.
$25 million wasn't. $25 million was close to market value in 2020. It wasn't a ridiculously low amount in 2020.
I mean, it was like $13 or $14 million less than like what Rodgers was making at that time, and some of those guys. It was serious. He was making $2 million less than Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you think that's a bargain or not? Yeah, that's a bargain.
Well,
right. All right,
but Drew Brees did the same thing. Remember at the time we said Phillip Rivers was getting 25, Drew Brees was getting 25, and Tom Brady was getting 25. Phillip Rivers should be wearing a ski mask.
Well,
I remember saying that.
Well, yeah, no, I know, because Brady was going low. Everybody was like, whoa. And we know New Orleans started flirting with Brady because they were afraid that Drew was going to ask for more. And if he was going to ask for more, they were going to call Tommy up because they knew he'll take it for 25. You and I both know that. We've heard that from a lot of people. So that's where
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, let's just praise the guy for doing this. We don't have to always look for that. That's all I'm saying. It's still a good gesture.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
It does help out their football team.
You gave up $33.7 million.
Yeah.
You committed the most selfless act in the history of professional or amateur sports. We are not worthy.
Well,
is that better?
Yeah, I like that better. Good. Put that on a clip.
Right,
Put
good.
it on your Twitter page, all right?
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.